What's going on, guys? Whew. All right, we got a good show tonight. Got a guest. They're already here in the basement. Kelly's going to be up here with me tonight. I'm going to say hi to some people real quick. Kelly and I tend to talk over each other. I'm going to knock out some hellos here. Thrifty Angela first in the house. She's got a new video up on several St. Patrick's Day crafts, so check those out. Judith, thank you for coming here, friend from California. Celeste, thank you for being here. And Holland in the house. My sister was here. She's going to bed. Time for exploring. Tim, thanks for being here. Mary Jones, miles to go. Judy from Wisconsin. You guys getting any snow up there in Wisconsin? We're going to get snow tomorrow, so I think I'm going to take tomorrow off. And Elizabeth, hello. Thank you for coming. Loopy Lisa. Vanderella says it's showtime. Folk of the Forest, thank you for being here. Steve. Hello, hello. How are you, lady? Land Cloud. There's my computer beeping. All right. We are getting a Dream on Wheels raid. Linda's here. Thank you for being here. Kathleen Klein. Lots of people in the house. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the raid. A lot of people saying hello. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Mark Wolf, thank you for being here. Box Fan D. All right, let me catch up. I want to say hello to everyone. Obviously, I am missing a bunch of people. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the raid. And super excited to share our guests with you. But before I get started, Lisa just left today. She's back on the road traveling to Texas. Her van build is going fantastic. And I've got another van coming on Thursday. So busy time right now. I'm going to bring Kelly up and let her say hello to everybody. Thank you for being here tonight, Kelly. I appreciate it.
I was in the YouTube part of my screen, and I was like not looking at the StreamYard, so I was not realizing I was already up. So I have a special surprise for the people out there tonight. So Lisa that came to our house, she turned me on to something I wish she would have never turned me on to. It's called Tate Bake Shop cookies. In the chat, if you've ever had Tate's Bakehouse cookies, just type in cookies, and then at some point later in the show, I'm gonna give some cookies out. I checked before we got on live. I can send them through Amazon. So if you're able to get Amazon deliveries, I'm gonna send you some cookies.
Fun. That sounds fun. And Lisa is here. She's saying hi in the chat.
Hey, Lisa.
I am trying to get on the live YouTube one so that I can see the chat. Now I'm echoing, so I must be on.
Lisa typed in that she's had the cookies. That's where I got them from. Aw, Dee says her internet sucks.
Oh, no.
Oh, Mary Jones has had them. I guess Thrifty Angela has had them. So.
Yeah. So we're going to take a day off tomorrow. Kelly and I are both off tomorrow, and I'm going to echo.
Is your door shut?
Yep.
Well.
All right. Maybe it's not so bad. All right, guys. We do not want to keep Patty waiting much longer. We're going to bring Patty up, and we're going to talk to her about how it was leaving with her van. It's still echoing. Kelly, I'm going to drop you down. Is it still echoing? We're going to bring Patty up. Let's see if it's better.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yep, they're saying big echo. Hopefully the echo's gone now. I feel like we get that echo when Lisa was here and she was in the room next door. She was in the dining room. We were getting an echo as well. So good now. We're getting the thumbs up. Patty, thank you for being here. I know you love being on camera.
I'd only do this for you, Johnny.
Yep. I feel like it might be a toss-up. Who hates being on camera more, you or Lisa? Hopefully, and I've got a build coming up. They're like, I do not want on camera. Okay.
Lisa does a lot better than I do, though. She does great on video.
She did well. She did so good. She
Yeah.
really did. And the time, when we did your interview and you were on the screen, you did great too. So before we get started, if anybody has any questions, Patty has the beach house build that I did, and put your questions in the chat. Make sure you put some asterisks or some Q's in front of the questions so that I make sure that I see them. I'm going to try and watch the chat. I know a lot of Patty's answers to these questions. I'm going to be listening and watching for questions. So Patty, I know that we worked real hard to get you your van in time for Christmas. We were real close. It was almost done on Christmas Day, but we do. I know you did say it was a good Christmas present, but yeah. So tell us what it was like when you showed up and you were ready to do your van adventure, because you weren't sure it was even going to happen.
I didn't know whether I was going to have somebody here to watch my mom. It was, but it all came together. And then when I got there, I was exhausted, but so excited to see it. And it was so much more than I imagined in my head. And I saw the pictures, but in person, it was just so much more detail that you see. And it was just absolutely beautiful. I felt like I was speechless. So,
yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
And so tell me, tell us, when you were getting ready to leave, I know that there was like some excitement, some anxiety, some like the emotions I felt. I felt like I could feel some of those same emotions out. Like, can you talk about that?
Yeah, the first thing that I was dealing with was the fact that the van was leaving you and it was going to be in my possession. And I was actually feeling bad for you that it was leaving.
It was. It was like saying goodbye to my firstborn.
I know. And I could feel that from you, but
Yeah.
yet I was really excited to take it and start driving. And, the weather was just so cooperative for the whole trip. So I was excited to be on the road. But yet I haven't really had a road trip like that in years. So I paced myself. I made sure that I stopped at rest stops. And, as I'm driving, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, am I really doing this? It was one of those things. You've got all those emotions going on. And then you're driving the whole thing now because it's completely built out, as opposed to when I was driving it here in Connecticut and it was partially built. So, it felt much different, and you're more aware of, okay, is there anything that's going to open, or, do I take a corner a little bit more gentle? And so you're kind of retraining yourself on how to drive it all over again.
That's
And I will say nothing opened up. So
yay.
Yeah.
Yay. And when you're driving and you can't like anchor everything down, it does kind of like there's things that rattle all the time. And we tried the best we could, to prevent that. But you're still going to have that earthquake that, you're rattling.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I feel like I needed to organize it better too, because I unpacked what I brought with me and I started packing it in the van, but it wasn't exactly where I thought it would be organized so that it was within reach and get used. You know how when you're in your kitchen, you know where everything is, and you're organized. So I knew I had some organizing to do. So I was going to do that once I was camped and start getting settled into the van and getting to know it.
Nice. So do you feel like when you drove away and it's loaded down now, do you feel like it drove a lot different? Do you feel like it was, did it handle better? What do you think?
It handled better for sure, because I think that the Promaster likes that additional weight.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to handle much better with that additional weight.
Yeah.
but I had to be aware of the extra height.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the roof rack and the solar panels before you had taken it. So I had that one incident where I was in the middle of nowhere and I had to pull into this tiny little gas station, and they had an overhang, and I didn't even think about it. So when I posted on my Instagram that thank God this little gas station was there, you were like, "Oh, I hope you did okay under that." And I didn't even think of it.
Yeah.
I would have heard something crash, but
when I saw the picture, I thought, that it is close. I always feel like when you're on the highways and you're hitting these gas stations and that, they really want to accommodate, big trucks, delivery trucks and that. So I feel like, those kind of things that were okay. But I was somewhere where it was like 9'6" and I'm 9'3", and that was, my weeboo sticks up a little bit. So it was kind of like, Gracie, thank you so much. You and Kelly enjoyed the off together. Thank you so much, Gracie, for the super chat. I appreciate that. I will do a quick thank you here. I got to work on those. I've only got one.
I like the panda.
Yeah. A lot of people like the panda. It's cute. So yeah. So you're 9'10". Am I? I believe you're 9'10". So that's that is. Kelly says Starbucks coming. She's ridiculous. Okay. So you feel like it drives better because of the weight, and I agree with that on mine as well, because I feel like it just is just stable, but it's like just solid. So, but what about you buy the van, you insure it, and then you put $30,000 into it. Were you a little nervous, like when semis were going by, and it's like
Yes, absolutely. The semis and the bridges that were just endless in Florida going over water, I was white knuckling it and I was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
So those two scenarios bothered me, but I will say most of my GPS took me on a lot of the smaller highways and the back roads. So I wasn't on too many major interstates from Missouri to Florida, only a couple here and there. So
it's crazy.
I felt like I was in the middle of nowhere most of the time. So that was helpful because I was more comfortable with that type of driving.
Yeah. Now, someone was asking if you were full-time or part-time, and we'll go ahead and share that, because
right now, part-time. And I am back in Connecticut because my mom's condition has changed. So I'm grounded for a little while I'm taking care of that. But my plan is now probably to be about full-time for at least a year or so. Oh, Becky's there. Hey, Becky.
Thanks for coming, Becky.
And when the time is right, it'll be full-time for about a year, and I'll be looking to see where I'll be getting settled.
Yeah. Now, so we do have a lot of prayer warriors in the group here. So, and if you can pray for Patty's mom, that would be, we would appreciate that.
Thank you.
So Patty, go ahead and so a lot of people that were watching the videos, they knew you were going to take like 3 weeks and go to Florida and kind of enjoy some warm weather. Tell us about your trip. When you left, you were heading to Florida. First of all, we'll kind of back up a little bit. Tell us about that first night, like living in your van that first night. Where'd you go? Did you have a destination?
After talking to you about where I would feel most comfortable, and we kind of narrowed down Cracker Barrels and camping facilities, I was looking for Cracker Barrels every step of the way. So I did end up at a Cracker Barrel for my first night. And that was actually very comfortable because they really gear their parking lot and their business around the RV community and the travelers. So I felt completely comfortable, and I was actually so tired. I didn't even really think about it. I was out cold, so I was good. So,
I feel so comfortable at Cracker Barrels.
yep.
And then you always, you gotta get a muffin and a coffee for breakfast because you
Oh
sit
yeah.
there.
You got to eat something there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So how did you feel when you were in the van and just being able to stop whenever you wanted to and climb in the back and relax or be done for the day? I mean, that was one of my favorite things when I was traveling long distance.
Yeah. I was able to pull over to a rest stop, as I mentioned earlier, and I did. I actually just kind of got on the bed and just closed my eyes for about a half hour to rejuvenate my energy level to be back on the road. And that was it was awesome because I felt like I was completely in my own little private space, and I didn't have to really worry about anything that I needed. Everything I needed was right there. And then when I was ready to hit the road again, you just hop in the front seat and go. And, you travel as far as you can, and then you pull over again, and everything
Yeah,
is right there.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
The question is, how did all the components work those first couple of nights?
very good. I mean, I used the water, the sink. So the pump was working fine. You and I were communicating about the Blue Eddy and how the solar was holding up. And, as long as the sun was out, that was doing really well. Unfortunately, I did get some cloudy days and some rainy days. So I did have to hook up to a campsite by the time I got to Florida. But for the most part, it took me to Florida without any issue in terms of the Blue Eddy.
Hmm.
So all the components did well. There was a little learning curve. I think I had to ask you about the refrigerator
The
one night.
refrigerator, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So got that situated. It was very easy. It was just basically a button. So everything worked. There wasn't anything that I had any issues with at all.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. All right. So talking about the vans are hard to come by right now. We were actually just talking about that.
Yeah.
Did you order your van? How did you get your van? How long did you have to wait? Because right now, I mean, we all know it's a long wait.
Well, with my story, I actually started looking at vans several months before you and I had connected. And I started looking at used vans. I have an accounting background, so I didn't really want to take a depreciation hit with a brand new van. That was my thought going into it. But then I had an awakening because you start walking through the process of the dealerships, and the used vans were the same price as the new ones.
Hmm.
So I did not want to do that. I couldn't get myself to do that. So in my head, I was perfectly happy waiting for a few months for a brand new one if I was going to spend the same money for one that had 20,000 miles on it. So I got on the internet and I got lucky. There was a dealership a couple towns away from here that was advertising 3 Promasters that were available. And I immediately got on the phone with them
Nice.
and put a deposit down. And they had already put the orders in a year prior to me putting the deposit. They were still waiting for the vans to come in. And then I had to wait another 4 months. So it was a total of a year and 4 months before the van arrived in the States.
Wow, that's a lot. I'll tell you just on that note, I had a couple of vans builds booked, and ultimately they ended up canceling because they can't get a van. They one of them didn't want to order it and wait with the possibility of maybe finding one that she's still looking for, and so they're definitely hard to find. Um, did you tell us why you chose a ProMaster over any other van?
I
What?
drove the Ford Transit, I think it was. Yeah, the Ford Transit. And I liked it. But again, it had 20,000 miles on it, and they wanted more for it. So,
Yeah.
so I was very close to putting a deposit on it, but it was a medium roof. So I was a little hesitant on that because I knew once the build had started that would take away from the height. And then as I was deciding on that one, I had found the Promaster. So, and I knew the Promaster, I was going to be able to put a bed in from left to right. And I didn't want to go from front to back. I wanted to try to utilize as much space as I could. So that was one of the main reasons why I wanted the Promaster, is for the space inside. I felt it was going to give me a lot more opportunity to create more storage and more space in the right bed position that I was looking for.
Right. There are a bunch of high top vans for sale near me down the street. Well, yeah, the prices are like 10,000 over MSRP right now. So
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. So pause for just a second. Thank you to all my moderators. Please drop your links, and Happy Place Camping, drop both your channel links. And so moving on from there. So I'm actually building out, Lisa has the transit medium roof. And so I'm like 5'6", and I've got just like that much extra room. So if you're on this, shorter side, like 5'6" or under, you could get away with that medium roof.
Yeah.
So now, one of the questions that a lot of people ask is about insurance. We were talking about that briefly before the show started. Obviously when you've got a build, you buy it, you buy your van, and it's say 45,000 now. You get done building it and it's worth 85. So tell us about your experience with your insurance and your insurance changes.
Well, the insurance crossed my mind as I was crossing the bridges in Florida. It's like, oh no, I completely forgot about the whole additional investment here. So it was like, okay, first thing on the list when I have time to call them and get that going. I did not get around to it because of everything going on with my mom until this past week. But fortunately, I was already in an insurance company that when I called the agency, they were able to shift it over to a camper van with the pictures that you had given me. I was able to send those pictures over and let them know that I did have facilities on site and a cooking space. That's the other thing that they were asking about. And my premium only went up $30 for the year, and I'm now fully covered for the whole thing. So
nice.
And she thinks she can do better. So
and it's
she's
such a peace of mind knowing that you've got that extra coverage.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely well worth it for
Right.
$30, $35 to know that you have that peace of mind. And she's also looking around to see if she can do a little better on the premium, but it really wasn't that bad. I think I paid maybe a total of like $1,400 a year. I'm in Connecticut. I know it depends on the state that you're in. So,
Now I'll tell you, I went to Arizona again, got another busted windshield. I can't go to Arizona and come home without a cracked windshield. Does your insurance, do you have a coverage for windshields?
I do.
You do, yeah. I've got a $500 deductible. I think I'm gonna have to change that because every year I buy a new windshield and they are expensive in the Promaster. They're like $900.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. One of the other things that I was going to ask you, so we talked about, do you have a spot that you like? You kind of lean towards Cracker Barrels. Did you end up, did you stay at a rest stop? Did you stay at a truck stop? Did you? No.
I stayed at a Cracker Barrel for the first 2 nights. The third night I stayed at a Walmart in the garden center. And I knew it was okay to stay there because there were other RVs already there for the night. So I know that's sometimes questionable in terms of whether Walmart will allow it or not.
Yeah.
And I felt comfortable there too. Again, it just seemed like everybody was very considerate of each other, and I didn't feel
like-minded.
Yeah, I didn't feel uncomfortable at all. And then when I did get to Florida, I was there a day earlier than my reservation, and it was getting hot. So I was a little low on the Blue Eddy because I had that gray day and rain.
Hmm.
So I knew I had to plug in somewhere. So I found a private little camping spot that was next to a Cracker Barrel because I almost stayed at Cracker Barrel. And he was completely full, but he saw that I had a van, and he's like, you know what? I can fit you in the garage, in like the area over here on the lawn, and there's electricity. And if you need water, let me know. So he squeezed me in
Awesome.
because I was the size that he could do that.
And
So
that's the good thing about a van because like even when I went to West Virginia, I got a discount on the first 2 weeks I stayed at a campground. They gave me a spot. It was discounted because of my length.
yeah,
So that was good. One of the questions was, do I have my van insured? I sent her over a bunch of the pictures. I haven't heard back from her. That is something that I have to kick it into gear, and because I'm sure my insurance will probably drop. When I was test driving, it swayed a lot. Yes. And we both agree, Patty and I both agree that as soon as you put some weight in there, it really creates a more solid feel. Now, I'll tell you the number one thing from my experience is the sway that you get when you're driving and a semi passes you. You get a little bit of sway. But when they cut over right in front of you, you get a lot of sway. There are things that you can do to your van to help minimize that a little bit more. Does it fix it? No. These semis put off some wind. So the heavier, you get that wind. And Patty's van is the same as mine. We've got a whole lot of weight near the lower portion of the van, not a lot of upper weight, and that helps as well. So
I will say there's a lot of truckers that you do end up having pass you or that you end up behind. And I found that if I was really near him or her, and I could feel that there was definitely a difference that if I were closer to it, as opposed to giving it some more space and backing away from it more, that
yeah.
also helps.
Yep.
So.
I just, as soon as they start cutting over, I slow down because I know I'm going to get that wind.
Yep.
So now, we were just talking about, where you stay at, that kind of thing. And so there's a lot of apps out there now for like boondocking, for Harvest Host, for, anyway, is there any apps that you downloaded before you got on the road that you think you might have used, and did you add any?
I actually took advantage of Harvest Host had a special around Christmas time. So I did sign up for Harvest Host thinking I would probably utilize that as I was on the road. I don't know why, but I just completely forgot about it while I was on the road. So, I mean, obviously I will still use it at some point, but I also, there was, I'm trying to think. Oh, actually, I have my phone here. I'll tell you what I ended up. Campendium, I opened that. I also, RV Parky was another one, and The Dirt. But the only one I really opened up was Campendium on this particular trip. But I think that that's something that I need to do better on the next trip. I felt like I relied too much on my GPS, and I really should have planned a little bit better in terms of, what was coming up within a certain time frame. Because I found myself having to drive an extra hour or two just to find a Cracker Barrel. And by that point, I was really tired. So I really wish that there was a way that I could have found the Cracker Barrel locations, because I tried to Google that and I had a hard time.
Mm-hmm. The Sumo Springs, that's what I was thinking of. That's what I was thinking of too. So thank you for adding that. Yeah. Somebody else had an insurance question. We did already answer that. Patty has hers insured as an RV. recently, and mine, I'm working on it. And another one that Gina Payne sent me over is Overlander. That was one too. And the
Okay.
thing that I like about that one is that if there's a place that's got a shower or laundry, it'll show up on there as well. So,
Nice.
but when I went to Arizona, I stayed at rest stops. Because it took me 3 days to get there. I stayed at a truck stop and the rest stops. So I got, we felt, comfortable at those. So
Good.
yep. All right, let's talk power. How do
Okay.
you like? How ultimately are you okay that you went with the Blue Eddy? Do you wish you would have went with something else?
No, I'm okay with the Blue Eddy. I think I did fine with it. Again, you have to be aware of the weather and how much sun you're getting. And if you're not getting enough sun, I think you have to plan to plug in somewhere to bring it back up to 100%. But other than that, it served all my purposes in terms of what I needed inside the van.
Uh-huh.
And it was, if I get a regular nice day as I'm traveling with the solar, it's 100% by the end of the day. So
Yeah.
so I wasn't really too concerned about it. If the sun was out, I knew I'd be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can charge it, DC while you're driving. It's not as powerful as the sun, but it can be.
Okay.
So someone's asking, so the Blue Eddy, I will point out, Blue Eddy, the way it's designed is the input for solar is the same input as DC. So you have to get a small, you can go to Walmart and get them a small little box inverter, plug it into that cigarette lighter, or I've got mine direct wired, and plug the AC cord into that inverter. And then you can charge it through your AC plug and still whatever solar, like I had this much ice on my solar panels and it was still charging. So so then you're getting that solar charge and that, because even on overcast days, you'll get a little bit, but 30 watts are not going to charge your system up. Other than solar, do you hook? Okay, we just answered that one. And then somebody else said there's an app that you can use for Cracker Barrel, and it tells all the U.S. locations.
I'm
Okay,
gonna look at that. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people saw that. Do you love your van?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No question. Absolutely in love with this van.
Yep.
And you feel so proud driving it. And I have to say, I pulled into a Walgreens that I was a little lost, but I pulled into this Walgreens and there was a young man going by me, driving by, and you could see he was just like so enamored with it. And, under normal circumstances, I probably would have gotten out of the van. And if he wanted to see it, I probably would have said, oh, you can see it. But at that point, I was just so tired. I couldn't, but the amount of pride that I felt that, you could see the interest in it. And I just absolutely love it. I'm so happy.
Yes, yes. Okay, so one of the questions is they heard that the Blue Eddy fan is loud, and I'm going to start with the answer and then we'll let Patty, you're new to the van. What did you think? Did you feel like it was loud?
I noticed it occasionally, but honestly, I didn't really feel bothered by the noise where I was really aware of it. So for me, it didn't bother me. But yes, that fan can be pretty loud. So, and the bed is right there. So, so I suppose if it had gone on at a time where I was getting ready to crash for the night, it might have bothered me a little bit, but I didn't find it was an issue. Cause like I said, I seem to have gotten to the point where it was fully charged by the nighttime. So it wasn't kicking in.
Right. So, and then my answer would be the AC 200P is louder than the AC 200, in my opinion. Part of it could be where mine's located as opposed to where hers is located. I feel like they're compatible. hers is on the left, on the right front. Hers is on the passenger side, close to the door. Mine's on the driver's side, close to the door. So I feel like that's compatible. There's no insulation or anything around them, but I feel like the charging brick on the AC200P is louder than the AC200. However, you've got your refrigerator that hums. So I feel like, even in van life, when you're staying at a Walmart, you're staying at a Cracker Barrel, even a campground, there's all those noises. That soft hum of that pack, yes, is loud to me. What I would consider loud, noticeable. But it's definitely something that, like, literally a week you're used to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like having your refrigerator in your home. You get used to the sounds in your home.
Exactly. Kelly is asking for a code. Kelly, 122827. Hang on just a second. I'm gonna 823. Kelly is getting a StreamYard or something ready for me. And really nothing else. Your refrigerator's in that box. How did your refrigerator work out?
Yeah, that worked out fine, because the way that you had done the grate, it's on the driver's side, so that the noise kind of directs over that way toward the driver's side of the van. And so if you're sleeping in the back of the van, it doesn't really bother you, because it seems to be directed toward the front of the van.
Right. And I agree. Now, I'm a big fan of those swivel seats. I'm not as great of a fan of the driver's one. Did you mess with that at all on that driver's?
I didn't. I messed with it a little bit while I was in Missouri with you. But I felt like I had to really kind of work on getting used to how it navigated front and back, side to side, and my upper body strength and my hand strength is not really good, so I'm going to have to take some time to get used to it. But I mean, I can foresee using it once I do get used to it. And when I brought it home and I showed the van to a couple of friends, one of them jumped into the front seat and just made themselves comfortable and didn't have an issue with it at all.
Didn't have any issues. Yeah, that's nice. Now, the question is what kind of fridge? And we know you've got an Alpacool, but how many liters?
It's one of the smaller ones, and it's not the one that could be freezer or refrigerator. It's just the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So I don't remember the liters off the top of my head.
The nice thing about it, and I believe I've got a link for it in her tour video. The nice thing about that one is it is a good size for if you want to have it in a chest or something, or under a bench, because like Lisa has a massive one, and it rolls out. I actually had to put it on a cart to pull out. It's not like, we could have put it in a chest. It would have taken up a lot of room. So
no, I like it where it is. And for me, it works out fine, because I think I had it like half full. I didn't even use the full capacity of it. And it was just convenient to have it where it is, in terms of, I didn't really want to have to be bending over. And again, because of my limitations with, my strength level, I just felt like if I had to be shifting something in and out down below, it just wouldn't have worked out for me. So the placement of mine is exactly where I would have needed it to be. So
good. Now, when you lift that lid up and you've got to open up that refrigerator lid, is that it? Do you feel like having it in that cabinet? Does it make it hard for that lid to open up? Does it work out okay?
The way that you had put that latch for the butcher block is wonderful. Yep. But I definitely think I need some kind of a latch on the refrigerator, because I do have to hold that up to get in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't think about that until I actually started using it. So
yeah, put a strip of Velcro on top of there and then open it up. And I think Velcro would probably be enough for that.
Okay.
I mean, you could try it. It would peel right off, and if it left a mark on the wood, you just kind of sand it smooth because
Yeah,
it's butcher block.
that's a good
And then
idea.
if it didn't work out, both of them would come off. But it's pretty, a lot of times Velcro is pretty strong.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a good idea.
Awesome. Okay, so Kelly is doing. Are you doing the wheel, Kel? What are you doing? I'll pull her up. Let's have her join us. How you
Hey,
doing?
everybody. I'm giving those cookies away. Johnny,
Awesome.
if you want to give something away, I had everybody type Maddie in. So type in Maddie if you want to be in the drawing. Just Velcro.
Hello
from
from
Indonesia. Thank you for being here.
And then let me do the share screen.
Somebody saying, "What about a magnet?" A magnet would it would have to be glued, like put steel. So maybe steel on the lid, and then maybe glue a magnet on there. Not. It'd have to be strong. I got my echo. Hey, Kelly, I'm going to mute you while you're doing the thing. That way we won't get an echo. So Patty, you left here, you were gone about a week, and then you got news.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it kind of started before I left. It was getting some phone calls that I was a little concerned about. My first day on the road, my caregiver got herself locked in. So I had a little bit of drama on my first day on the road. But yeah, by the time I got to Florida, and again, that was that Thursday, my mom was in just such distress that it was very clear that I had to head to Connecticut. So for my first time out, unfortunately, I was driving every single day, at least 6 or 7 hours a day from the day that I left Missouri. So by the time I got home, I think I got home that Monday. I was driving so many days straight. I was like a zombie when I got home.
That's what I thought. I thought if this is your as a first impression for van life, it was so stressful for you and so fast because a lot of times you'll leave and you'll have maybe a little small destination in mind. You were kind of hightailing it to Florida.
Yeah.
And when you don't stop and see interesting things and you're just going from A to B, it can be tiring. Like for me, getting from here to Arizona in 3 days and then coming back, me and Bobby stopped multiple times it's exhausting. It is exhausting. The other thing that is that added stress. Patty was here at the house for about a week or so, maybe 10 days. And I was in the background listening to, not listening. It was
hard not to hear what was happening.
Eavesdropping. It was on speaker, whatever. And her mom, being a caregiver is a lot. Especially when it's 24/7. And that's part of it was so exciting helping make this dream come true. And it's still coming. It's, he's going to do a bunch of trips. It's still coming. But being a part of that to me was huge because I know, and I could hear everything that she was going through, and her mom just didn't understand. And when you've got someone with Alzheimer's or early onset, early dementia, and that, trying to get them to understand, and them not seeing you for days and days and days. And Patty was here for 10 days and then was gone for a week. So her mom had to have been, it's just tough. It's just tough. So the fact that Patty had to go back home, I was heartbroken, but 100% understood. And I know that Patty's day in the van is coming.
Oh yeah.
And it'll be a better day.
Yeah. And I'm eager for it. I'm excited about getting back in there, when that day comes. So it's out there, and I look at it every day, and I take it for a ride here and there, and I do the local, I'll take myself to lunch when I have somebody sitting with her, and I enjoy it the best I can. It's cold here right now, so I'm kind of limited on how long I can stay in there without any heat. But
right, yeah,
so I'm excited to use it. So I'm using it the way I can for now until I can get there. So
right, yeah. That's exciting. That's exciting. So looks like we're getting an LFLS raid. Thank you all for coming in. Thanks for the raid. Kel, are you ready to spin that wheel?
Yes.
All right, do it.
Oh,
Miles to go. Congratulations.
Miles to go. Okay, so they need to email us. You can put up whatever email you want, and I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the base.
Are you gonna
Everybody?
you wanna spin that a couple more times and I'll just send out the rest?
Oh, okay.
Spin that 2 more times. We'll just send out a bunch of cookies or something. I'll reach out to them. Lisa W. I know. Oh, that's awesome, Lisa.
That would have been funny if she would have won the cookies because she was the one that turned me on to the cookies.
Yeah, that's right. That's
All right.
right.
Love to everybody. I'm gonna go.
Congratulations, winners.
Thanks, guys. All right, I'm gonna put my email address in here. I'm gonna try. I don't know why I'm going up like that. I'll put my email address in there. You guys send me an email. Sorry about this. And I will get your stuff sent out, and I'll message Lisa. So Patty, now that your van's done, is there anything? And after, I mean, you've kind of hung out in there. You were on the road for a week. Anything that you think, man, I wish Johnny would have? Anything?
I think that I know we still have to deal with that front seat situation. So, and that was really nobody's fault other than the fact that we just couldn't find a seat. So, so for now, I know we have a temporary situation, and now that I've actually been able to be on the road and have a level of understanding how comfortable I am getting access to the back versus having to get out of the van and have access to the back, because we had that bench seat. So we had many conversations about that. So I felt that it was very important to be able to just directly going back. Now, one of the things I'm thinking about is actually maybe putting that seat in and putting in a half wall. So I'm not sure yet, and it's something that you and I can chat about, but that's the only thing that really has come to mind in terms of knowing that we still have to deal with that scenario because it was out of our hands. But in terms of the build itself, I really want to be able to stay at a campground and really understand every single thing about the van and all the components and just really get to know it more. And I think I'll have a better answer to that question once I can do what I had set out to do originally.
The thing about and I 100% agree, 100%. And that's one of the things that we wanted to do. We wanted to load up after Patty got here and go to a campground and actually stay for several days, and so that any questions, she could learn all the components, cook some meals, that kind of stuff. And for all kinds of reasons, it just didn't work out that way. But the other thing, I was going to answer something. The seat. The problem with the Promaster and the bench seat is they don't give you that much room to pass through. So for anybody that doesn't know, that wants to know, when you get a Promaster and you get 2 bucket seats, you've got probably close to about 14 inches that you can pass from front to back. A bucket, a bench seat next to the driver's seat, which is what Patty had, completely, like, you can't stick your arm without like really pushing it between the seats. So you would have to climb over those seats. And it's just, for purposes of van life in a van, that's not the best answer for everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
So
I'm tiny,
trying to change that on a bucket seat. When you look at the bucket seat, I mean, besides completely, cutting it or tearing some of the, seam and cushion and whatever else, we'd have to look at it, but I'm not sure if it could be done without climbing over. But we haven't looked at it yet. So.
No. And I know you mentioned that you think that there's going to be a move toward doing a swivel for that bench seat at some point in the US. I know it's popular, I think in the UK, that they've come up with that solution because those seats are very popular over there. But in the US, they don't have a good solution for the Promaster.
Exactly. And again, I do think that's one of those things that are coming.
Yeah.
So, because I even tried on the Promaster site to list that and do a trade, and without putting $2,500 into it, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Everything's so expensive and everything's so overpriced right now. So
even if you do put the money into a bucket seat, then I still have the wiring issue of the airbag and the seat belt. So, these are all challenges that you have when you accept that bench seat. I mean, hindsight is 2020. I did have the ability to get the 2 bucket seats, but out of the vans that I had to choose from, I went with the bench seat because I wanted the windows in the van. So I felt like the windows in the van were important, and some other features of the van that, it was only $1,000 or $2,000 more to have that additional, but it included that bench seat, and I didn't realize what I was in for with that bench seat once the build started.
Because it's so crazy. It really is crazy how easy it is to install windows in those.
But you know what? You and I haven't met yet.
You don't know, and that's why I love these kind of videos where people can actually like answer, ask what questions they have, and those like Facebook groups and that. So because you can get some of those answers, but I live in San Francisco. Yep, and I'll show you around. Awesome. Thanks for being here, Marianne. And Karen, thank you for coming. Anything else? We've got about 7 minutes left. You did fantastic. Not camera shy. You did good.
Thank you. I'm just really looking forward to getting into a proper trip. So, for the most part, the thing that just is overwhelming for me is the gratitude I have for you for everything that you've done for me in this build and allowing me to at least know that this is coming. The van is built and it's just ready for when the timing is right. And again, I'm just so grateful. And awesome. I'm so glad we met. And I look forward to a continued future relationship with you and Kelly and moving forward and learning more about the van. So,
it's so funny to me it's cool that, that people get put in your path for a reason. And I'll go ahead and share with the chat. I think probably 90% of the people here know I just started this business now. And it was in part that, Patty, she reached out to me and I thought, yeah, I'll give this a try. But it helped me boost that confidence level that maybe I could do this on a full-time basis. So, and that was a huge part of it. But now, I reached back out to Patty, and little did I know when I met her, when she reached out to me, that she does accounting, is accountant. So I've asked Patty to help if I could hire her to help me with the business paperwork, taxes, that kind of stuff, the legal aspect of it. So it's so cool how God really does put people in your path. And we talked about this from day one about how it just was just so meant to be, this whole build. So
it felt bigger than both of us.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
So, Patty, thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss you guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
All right. If nobody else has any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and drop you down. We're going to say farewell to everybody. And then,
bye, everybody.
Thanks, Patty.
Thanks for having me.
All right, guys. That was so much fun. Patty is so cool. I was so happy that she reached out to me, that we met. And it literally, if you guys go to my web page, and she wrote me a letter afterwards. I wanted a little testimony. She wrote me a letter, and I did go ahead and share it on my Patreon page and my website with her approval, and it was very, very super special to me. And you can, by reading that, you can see the working relationship that we had. So I'm going to do a quick thank you to all my channel members, all my Patreons real quick here, and then we're going to sign off for the night. All right, guys, thank you so much for spending the evening with us. We're going to be back next Tuesday. Be sure to come out, hang out with us. Take care. If you have any van questions, just shoot me an email, midwestvanbuilders@gmail.com. We'll see you guys next week, guys.